Welcome to the Alpha Gal Outdoorsman Podcast, where we talk all things Alpha Gal and all things outdoors. Everything from hunting, fishing, hiking, camping, canoeing, kayaking, jeeping, off-roading, even gardening. I'm your host, Robert Worley.
All right, guys, real quick before we get started into our podcast today, I got a great guest for you. When I recorded this a few days ago, this podcast with Eddie Palmer's my guest today. And when I turned the Zoom call off, I hit the record button and turned it off. Him and I ended up talking about 10 minutes. And man, it was like some information come to light that just blew my mind. And we had to get off. We got off the Zoom call, and it has bothered me. And I sat down to do some editing to get this podcast put together for you. And I just couldn't do this podcast without getting him back to. So what I've done was I just made a quick phone call to him. I got the audio. I'm going to patch it in at the end, so you get to hear what the end is like. So with no further ado.
All right, welcome back to another episode of Alpha Gal Outdoorsman. As your intro just said, I am your host, Robert Worley. Only got one announcement today. Got a good guest on here. I'm real excited. I've been looking forward to this one for a while now, right in the middle of Turkey Bonanza. But before we get going here, House Bill 578 has passed the House of Representatives in the state of Ohio. It passed 88-1. And supposedly the one congressman that voted no thought she was voting on a different bill. According to my congressman, she called him and said, "I'm sorry, I voted no." So it should have been 89-0, unanimous. But nevertheless, it passed 88-1. And now the bill goes into the Senate, and Ohio, we get to start all over again. So April 15th, I'll be making my way back to the courthouse or the state house in Columbus. We'll be walking the halls and trying to talk to our senators and getting House Bill 578 turned to law. So without any further ado, my today's guest is a big turkey hunter, a turkey call maker, wing bone turkey call maker. Eddie, thanks for coming on today.
Yes,
Say hello
sir.
to everybody.
Hello, everyone.
So tell us a little about
From
yourself, Eddie, where you live and what you do for a living and that kind of stuff.
I live in Southwest Georgia. I am a technical support person for a HVAC distributor. Been doing HVAC for 35 years. Avid turkey hunter. I am a deer hunter, but turkey hunting is the most important. I have two daughters. My oldest has hunted, had never had a desire to harvest an animal. My youngest daughter is my number one turkey hunting partner.
That's awesome. That's awesome. So Eddie, how long have you had Alpha Gal?
Officially diagnosed June of 2018.
Okay.
My allergist and I assumed that I have possibly had it for much, much longer because of symptomatic issues I've had over the years. And we think that the June of 2018 is what pushed it over the edge.
I got you. Okay. So during that time though, you had been bit. You ain't been just bit once. You had been bit numerous times, huh?
Uh, Over the years, sometimes I am from up near Augusta, and heavy tick population,
Yeah.
primarily Lone Star,
Yeah.
and I've gotten hundreds off of me that were attached.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so, but I had issues with primarily pork over the years. In June 2018, had full blown anaphylaxis. Fortunately, I had shot sporting clays with a doctor several years before, and during the course of the weekend, he says, if you ever have a bad allergic reaction, take both famotidine and Benadryl. And I had the hives and the gastrointestinal issues,
Yeah.
severe hives. And so this is at 12:30 a.m. I get out
Yeah.
of bed and somewhere remember I'll take two famotidine, two Benadryl, go back to bed, and sometimes thereafter, I thought my CPAP had stopped working. Actually, looking back, it was my airways closing up. But I took two more Benadryl, two more famotidine. Never woke my wife up, and should have called 911. But that, fortunately, I'm here today
Yeah.
by the
Yeah.
grace of God.
It's fortunate you shooting clays with that doctor there, huh?
And how do you remember it after all those years? You
I
know,
know. I know,
as
right?
my mother would say, it's a God wink.
Yeah. Yeah. One of them moments for sure. So is that the only time you've been into anaphylactic?
Um, Severe.
Yeah.
I have. I had a fairly severe reaction to Remicade, um, but I was at the clinic getting an infusion at the time, so they had everything there
Yeah. Yeah.
to uh,
Okay.
to offset.
Yeah.
Reacted to the shingles vaccine. Um, Reacted to Humira, but mildly.
Yeah.
Slight rash, little airway tightness,
Yeah.
but nothing really severe.
So do you eat any meat now? I mean, are you just like the rest of us, fins and feathers?
Fins and feathers, brother.
Yep, that's us. Yeah. And
I
that's the,
have I had the SAT, the acupuncture.
yeah. Yeah.
Um, have not had nerve enough to see if it worked,
Yeah.
but I tried it.
Yeah.
Went to see the acupuncturist, did it, ran the whole routine, but have never tried anything.
Did it make, can you tell if it made a difference for you? Even not trying to meet?
Uh, I don't know that I could tell.
I got you.
Um, my allergist and I had discussed me trying venison
Yeah.
because of the lack of fat. And
Right.
there was a German study that indicated that the fats in the meat were what the trigger was for the alpha gal.
Yeah.
And of course, my numbers had gone from a almost 69 down to a 2.4, and got a tick, shot back to 27. Second tick, 37, and he told me not to try the meat, and I'm good with that.
Yeah. Yeah. I miss it. One thing I do miss is the venison. I do miss bacon and beef, but man, it hurts my feelings when, when I go to that freezer and I can't pull that deer loin out, you know. Um, so 2018, you was diagnosed. Had you been seeing the doctor, having reactions and not knowing what it was?
Had never discussed it with a doctor. For many years, it seemed to be pork related. Um, I call it contact hives. Um, the burning of the skin, and if you burning and itching, and if you scratched, it would whelp severely. Had a little gastrointestinal issue, but just assumed that it was. I don't know what I assumed it was. Never
Just pork,
thought to
just pork.
relate it to the pork,
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah,
it was all looking back, it was always pork. And
yeah,
when I had my bad reaction, I had pork the night before.
yeah, yeah,
Fortunately, my allergist was familiar with alpha-gal. I told him my symptoms and what I had eaten, and he called it. I think at the time there were less than 5,000 cases,
yeah.
and
It's
now,
crazy how many now, ain't it?
well, it's the medical profession is becoming educated on it.
Yeah,
I was in a wreck August of 18, and in the emergency room they said, "Are you allergic to anything?" I said, "Mammal meats," and
yeah,
the doctor said, "What's that?" And and I think that was the majority of the medical field at
yeah,
that time.
yeah,
Nobody knew.
yeah. It still is where I live. You can't find a doctor here. I live in Southern Ohio, and you can't find a doctor hardly that knows what it is. Yeah,
Um, August, I guess it was in August of 18. Um, I had been diagnosed with ulcerative colitis in 2007.
Yeah.
And I had the reaction in June. I started having a UC flare in August.
Yeah.
And I don't know how I found something on Facebook about Alpha Gal, but I made the comment, if there's hope, help. And Sharon, I don't remember her last name, started sending me these articles.
Yeah. Sharon Fawcett.
Yes.
Yep.
She sent me these articles from the Gastroenterology Journal.
Yeah.
And so I go to my gastroenterologist and said, and I had asked, could there be a possibility of a correlation between the two? Oh, no, no, no. Well, through dietary changes and some things that primarily dietary changes, I was still doing dairy and dairy
Yeah.
primarily.
Yeah.
And the short version is I suffered for 3.5 years with this UC flare. We tried Remicade, we tried Humira, we tried a anti-rejection medication that had me on a walker within 18 days.
Oh.
And the last thing he tells me is if this last medication doesn't work, we're going to have to remove your colon.
Ooh.
So before you take this, you need to get the shingles vaccine. So I take the shingles vaccine, and on Friday, April 30th, I had started the Imuran on May the 1st of the year before. That was the anti-rejection drug.
Yeah.
My son-in-law and I were going turkey hunting on May the 1st, and I told him, I said, I'm going to wait. I don't want to tempt fate. I'll wait and start that new drug tomorrow. Well, I had a mild reaction to the shingles vaccine, a little airway issue.
Yeah.
Took the famotidine, the Benadryl, all's well. And then I found the articles from Sharon and never started this last drug. Still have my colon. And I'm living a normal life today.
Son,
And
you talking about a close call. That was a close.
Well, we assume, my allergist and I assume that I have the gastrointestinal variant of alpha-gal syndrome that Dr. Comans had discovered.
Yeah.
So, how do you know? I don't know that there's a test to tell, but I have not taken anything for my ulcerative colitis in over 2 years, and I'm having no trouble. So.
So Sharon is the one that helped me get the House Bill 578 underway
What is
here.
that?
Okay, so she's trying to get it in all 50 states to where if you go to the doctor or you go to the allergist and you get diagnosed with alpha-gal syndrome, it would be a mandatory reportable disease like Lyme disease or Rocky Mountain spotted fever or so many other major diseases. If you go and you get diagnosed, it's mandatory reported. We can't, and there's only like 13 states, and it might be 15 now because I know Kentucky and West Virginia just jumped on, but we don't know the numbers if the doctors don't report how many cases there is. How do we know how many there is? And then on top of that, we can't ask for funding, we can't get education for doctors, or we can't simply raise awareness if we don't have the numbers. So House Bill 578 in Ohio will make mandatory reporting for alpha-gal syndrome in the state. So um, I'll tell you how this happened. I'll make it quick here. Last October, I think it was it was sometime late summer, early fall last year. I listened to a webinar with Sharon Fawcett about mandatory reporting in each state and how they was trying to make it happen. Well, my congressman lives just a county over. he owns a business that's close to my business. We're lawn care and tree care. So I had his phone number. I just called him on the phone, said, "Hey, what about this?" He said, "I'll call you back in a few minutes." He called me back. He put me in touch with the state of Ohio health chair of the committee of the state of Ohio. And lo and behold, within a week, they had the bill written, submitted, and it's a slow, slow process. That was back then, and it just passed on March the 17th, I think was the vote, or March 18th was the vote. So it took that long just to get through the House of Representatives. But I know that you're in Georgia. There is a young lady down there that I had on my third episode. Um, and coming up next year in 2027, late this year and early next year, they're going to try to get a bill in the House for Georgia to make it mandatory reporting. But you guys are in a hot zone down there. It should be.
Uh, it's not really bad in this area I'm in. When you move north and east up into what's known as the Central Savannah River area, terrible, terrible ticks. I have gone years down here and not gotten a tick. 2018, I wound up with 12 or 13 that year.
Wow.
My wife wanted to go hunting on the last day of season. And we get back and I got the itch. And I don't know about everybody else, but tick has a distinctive itch to me. And he was right here on my bicep. 6 weeks later, I had my reaction.
Huh.
But
6 weeks. Huh.
I had gotten Lyme disease, now it's been about 15 years.
Yeah.
From a tick here in my yard walking my dog. I live right on the edge of a big swamp. So,
yeah.
But awareness is, awareness in the medical field is what's going to be key to making any advancements and doing anything about this.
100%. And that's what Sharon's trying to do. Get mandatory reporting across the board. Lyme and Rocky Mountain spotted fever already are. So like in Ohio, they just tacked on, House Bill 578 just tacks on alpha gal to Lyme and Rocky Mountain spotted fever. So it's not like it's an expense. It's not like it costs any more money. Plus, it's just a click of the button on the computer. Doctor gets the test results and literally, send. It's almost that easy. So, to get these laws passed like that is really going to help raise awareness, really. Now, I will say this. So I live in Southwest Ohio, and it's just not heard of. I got a hunting camp in Eastern Kentucky, and it's running rampant down there. I mean, I had somebody tell me a few weeks ago that 30% of Wolfe County has got alpha gal. Now, that number's crazy high to me. But I don't know.
It's very possible.
It's absolutely. So and that was her point. I thought, man, that's a crazy number. And she said, we was in this restaurant. She said, look around how many people's in here. And I don't know, there's maybe 50 or 60 people. And 90% of them I didn't know. And I knew like 6 people in there that had it. And I didn't know 50 other people that was in there. So she very well could be right, So we're just a couple of the unlucky ones, Eddie. We're a couple of the unlucky ones.
What fascinated me, I guess, was, and it may have been on your Facebook, but if you have alpha gal, what have you done? And almost everyone said, I stopped all outdoor activity. Well,
yeah,
it's a little pointless to stop the activity once you got the bug.
right? Yeah.
And I have a deal with my doctor that I keep a current blood draw form, and when I get a tick, I wait the 6 weeks and I go and we see what the antibodies are doing.
Yeah.
I'm a guinea pig, but
Yeah.
I don't mind being the guinea pig.
Sure.
I don't know what the end result will be with this, but back to the Kentucky, I've been going out west with a group of guys for a few years, and they decided to go to Missouri and Kentucky last year turkey hunting.
Yeah.
And my buddy Jason had been to Kentucky back sometime in the 90s.
Hmm.
No, he had been to Missouri in the 90s. And he said that you could literally see the ticks coming across the ground to you
Yeah. Wow.
uh, in Missouri. And I have seen some hunting, YouTube hunting shows where the ticks in Kentucky were it was unbelievable.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, So I didn't want to risk it. So my daughter and son-in-law and I went back to South Dakota.
Yeah. I
So
got you. I like it out west. I sure do like it out west. Yeah.
I love those the Black Hills. I fell in love with those my first trip out, and as long as I'm able to climb those mountains and chase Miriam's turkeys, I'm gonna try to do it every year. We're going to Washington and Idaho this year.
Are
So
you? And there
man,
is that all Marions out there?
Actually, southeastern Washington is Rios,
Rios? Yeah.
and we cross into Idaho for the Miriams.
Yeah.
And two of my buddies that are going have already gotten their Osceola, so they'll have a chance for a single season slam.
Yeah. Nice. Yeah. I'm
So
gonna one of these days I'm gonna do that. It's hard for me to do right now with my work schedule, but one of these days I'm gonna go for the is that the Grand Slam, right?
yeah, the
Yeah.
single season Grand Slam,
Yep.
I have everything but the Osceola.
Yeah. Yep.
And actually, until I killed my Miriams, I never considered it.
Yeah.
And now that I only lack it, and I'm 2 hours from Florida, I've started applying for some limited draw hunts.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I hope you get it for sure. Yeah, so let's get on to some turkey hunting. That was what I've been excited about here. So your seasons, you came in last weekend, is that right?
28th,
28th.
28th or 29th, yes.
Yeah.
Uh, I'm in today was day 6.
And you get
So
you get how many birds you get down there?
we get 2.
Two. Okay. Yeah. Any luck over the weekend?
Uh, have only been around Jake's.
Yeah.
In 6 days, I've encountered 10 Jakes. I called up a group of 5 this morning.
Is that
Uh,
right?
yeah,
Yeah.
but nothing long bearded so far.
Yeah. I got you.
I hunt most every morning before work.
Now, are you using an old Turk wing bone turkey call?
Every morning.
Every morning. I love that. I've been practicing with this thing and I'm not real good at it yet. Uh, I got them two from you and I gave one to my dad. It took me it probably took me 20 minutes to get it to make a noise. but but after I got going, I wanted to get where I could use it a little bit before I took it down to my dad. Bought one for him. Boy, he picked it up. He's like, "Oh yeah, I've been wanting me one of these," and he took right off. I was like, "Man, it took me 20 minutes to make a noise, and you're calling already." Um,
My first experience with an air operated call was, God, I was 12 or 13 years old. A friend of ours was an outdoor writer, and he had an original Turpin trumpet. And
yeah,
I picked it up and ran it. I'm not very good on them. I'm a yelp and cluck guy.
yeah, yeah,
Uh, Call turkeys, but
yeah. I've heard some people that don't sound real good and are great turkey killers, and then I hear some people that can call like nobody's business, but they can't. They have a hard time killing turkeys. So it's really not. My feeling is it's not what you say, but more when you say it. Does that sound right? Yeah, yeah,
yeah, that's probably a fair statement. I got a buddy he's one of the worst callers I've ever heard, but he kills turkeys.
yeah, yeah,
So
yeah, yeah. So first weekend in. So a bunch of Jakes. So you've never been to Kentucky then, or have you been?
No, I've never been to Kentucky. I've hunted Florida one time years ago. Georgia, Montana, South Dakota. I guess that's my only four states.
Yeah, yeah. Now I've been out west a few times, Colorado elk hunting, but I ain't never been out there turkey hunting. But I've been investigating a little bit. I was gonna I was gonna hit Alabama this year, but we had a sickness in the family, and it just I had to hang around. I had to stay close to home for it ended up being about a 3 week process, which I think you had just recently went through the same ordeal. But yeah, so I didn't get my Alabama in this year, which I'd never hunted Alabama before, and I was going to try to work it in. Um, uh, Kentucky, I have hunted Kentucky maybe 5 years in a row down there now, and the ticks are bad. But I tell you what, Eddie, I just I got a standing rule when you can make it to hunting camp. I got permethrin and all the sprays. I stick them on the front porch, and it's a house rule. When you get there first night, you spray down, and everybody's got to wear it. And I get out there in the woods. Last year in the afternoon, the turkeys was slow, slow, slow. I just laid down, took a nap. You know, um, you can't let them win. Just like you said, we got to keep going. Um, but I like Kentucky a lot. Here in Ohio, where I'm at, the property is so broken up. There's not big spaces. My uncle's got a 75-acre plot, and that's about the biggest around that I can hunt. It's just like we run out of room. You know, I go to Kentucky, and there's a lot more room. We can hunt hundreds and hundreds of acres, and I like running and gunning, and I just can't do it here in Ohio. You know.
Well, we got and down in my area there is very little public land. Um, we have three small tracts we hunt. The largest is 300. The other 300, 275, and 200.
Yeah.
Um, but the two bigger tracts hunt much smaller than they actually are. But
Yeah. Yeah, that's big for like here in Ohio. One of my favorite spots, even for my deer hunting, is like 75 acres. But in all reality, I would say 60 acres of it is crop fields. So I got about 15-acre patch, and it's a pretty good sized woods, but the property line, splits it in a third and two thirds, you know. So Ohio's just so broken up. That's why I enjoy Kentucky so much. But what about them Marians out west? Now, I always hear people say that the Easterns are the hardest, and some people even go as far as calling some of the other turkeys dumb. But what's your experience with hunting Marians out there?
I've never found an easy Miriam. They kick my butt just like the Easterns do.
Yeah,
Uh, we That's what my buddy and I were talking about this morning. It's everybody talks about the easy Miriams, but I hadn't found them.
you
Um,
yeah,
we when we got there last year at 5,000 feet elevation, it was 86 degrees in early May, mid May,
that's
and
hot.
I had never seen it above out of the 50s.
Yeah,
It's typically in the 20s in the mornings, 50s during the day. Uh, Spring before last, we hunted in the snow, but that hot weather, I'm assuming the hot weather, typically they'll gobble all day.
yeah,
Um, these summer guns would gobble in the tree, fly down, and shut up. They may gobble 30 minutes,
yeah,
like they do here around home.
yeah,
Uh, it was a tough week. Bailey killed. The weather changed on Wednesday. We located some birds Wednesday afternoon. Bailey killed her bird on Thursday morning, and then we had to leave Friday morning. So it was we only between the three of us we wound up with one this past year.
is that right? Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a long way to go for one bird, huh? How
it
many hours it take you to get out there?
30.
30 hours. Yeah. That's what
I've
it is.
I've I've driven twice, flown once, and I like the flying better.
Yeah. Yeah. When we go out west elk hunting, there's four or six of us, depending on where we're hunting of the group or whatever. But like the last year, three guys drove out, three guys flew out, and then we switched coming home, you know, which that made it kind of nice. I was fortunate enough to fly out, so we was out a day. We was out a day early, or a day and a half early, so we kind of got to drive the roads. We had a lease out there that was surrounded by BLM. So we didn't go into the lease. We never stepped foot anywhere in there, but we drove the roads around it with like onX going and, and it panned out. It really panned out to have that first day out there before season come in, to get out there and kind of scout around. But
Well,
I
that's
like,
what's good about the turkeys is um, we can fly out in the morning, and we usually take an early flight. We'll be in Rapid City by noon, and can be hunting that afternoon. Um, you
oh,
know, you drive, you actually lose basically 2 full days of hunting at least.
yeah,
Uh,
yeah,
but the drive out isn't so bad. You got the anticipation of what's to
yeah,
come.
yeah.
Uh, the drive home is hard because it's over and it's time to get back to the real world.
Yeah.
So
And it's a long way, boy. Yeah. Kansas, I never drove that's the longest, flattest state, son, I ever seen. Yeah. So let's talk a little about these wing bone turkey calls. Now, that's two bones put together? Is that what I'm seeing here?
yes, those you have is a 2 bone call.
Yeah,
Um, I don't know if you can see this,
I
but
can. Yep, yep.
that's a 3 bone. Uh,
Oh,
typically, from what I know, this is the 3 bone. It was the original um, call that people started. I don't know how long people started making them ago. My dad started making them in the early 70s.
yeah.
Um, I think the ones that were found in the caves that are supposedly however many thousand years old were radius bones, uh, which is just a small bone, and they just use that cupping their hands. Um, that
Oh,
was
yeah.
that was used on up, I think, probably into the turn of the century.
Is
Well,
that right?
the 20th century. Now that we're in another
Yeah,
century,
yeah,
but
I got you. I'm following you. Yeah, yeah. So how long have you been making these things?
we've been doing it 10 years. I say we. Um, I do the processing, the fitting, the tuning, and my daughter does the feather art and any writing on them. And then
Yeah,
I put the finish, and she does the wrapping, the thread wrapping, like on that 3 bone I showed you.
yeah, yeah. Huh. And
But
now,
my dad's health uh, started declining 2015,
yeah,
and he had made them, like I said, since I think 74 is when he started.
yeah,
And I had never really had any interest, but I got him to show me his process, just wanting to keep the tradition alive.
yeah,
And it's gotten much bigger than a hobby anymore, but
yeah,
I
yeah,
enjoy it.
yeah. So you was talking to me now. These are turkey wing bones, but you was talking to me when I told you I goose hunted. I picked up goose hunting, but you can use a goose wing bone as well.
Yes, I've actually made a 3 bone call out of Ross's goose bones, which is the entire call is about the size of a number 2 pencil.
Yeah,
Um, Plenty of volume, sounds wonderful. A lot of people are going to the using the gobbler bones, and a goose bone is the mouthpiece. The radius bone of the goose is the mouthpiece.
Oh, I
So
see. Okay. Yeah. Huh. So your dad, this is your dad's I guess design. Should we call it that? A design?
actually, that one isn't. He made the 3 bone calls.
Yeah.
Um, that's just something that I put together is trying to be a little different.
Yeah.
People make 2 bone calls. I decided to make the 2 bone call with the bullet ferrule.
Let me see if I can
Uh,
hold this up to the camera. And for people that's watching on the YouTube, get it held up there. It is absolutely a beautiful call. Yeah, I got one. I got this one, and I got the one for my dad. Um, I don't know. Our season don't come in, so Kentucky season comes in on the 18th. I'll be heading down there Friday the 17th. We're going to hunt. I'll be down there 4 days, and then they get two birds down there. So it'll depend on how the season rolls along. I might end up making another trip back down. Dad and I went back down. It would have been like a second weekend in Ohio, third down there, and we went back down. But then season here in Ohio comes in on the 24th, I think is what it is. But it's our birds have our we was allowed two birds. I think last year we was still allowed two birds. If not last year, it was the year before. Now they cut us back to one bird. Our population's definitely taking a hit here in Ohio. It's just ain't the much habitat for sure.
I don't know. We saw a decline here within the last 8 to 10 years. A bad decline to the point that um, the properties that we would take uh, 2 birds apiece on, we cut it back to one. I'll take one. Bailey can take one. Now that she has a husband, if he takes a bird, then that's her bird.
Yeah.
Uh, so we just got a self-imposed restriction on the properties we hunt. But overall, our numbers are down drastically.
Yeah. Yeah. Ours too. So like, and they've been playing with our season up here. I can't. Time just goes by so fast anymore. It's hard to put a timeline on it. But it wasn't but a few years back. I say a few, but between 5 and 10, our season used to come in on the 13th, and man, it was hot. It come in on the 13th. Turkey season was fun. I mean, they're gobbling and I mean, it was awesome. Now they got it backed up to the 24th. It's tough. It can be tough. It can be tough. Because the rut it's slowing down for them, and um, but I understand, why the DNR is doing it. We gotta protect the bird. If we don't protect it, nobody else will, So um, Kentucky comes in, like I said, on the 18th, and last year we had good birds gobbling down there for a couple of weeks in. I killed one here in Ohio. I killed down there opening day. Me and my buddy had a double. Come home here, shot a bird on opening day, and then Dad and I went back to Kentucky, and we had birds working, but I got busted by one I nicknamed Brutus. He was like 6 foot tall, had 5-inch spurs, and wore a headband.
All right.
But we're going back after Brutus this year. But so you had a couple groups of Jakes come in this year, huh?
We had one on Saturday. Uh, it was late, probably 9:30, quarter to 10. We'd actually just sat down and were playing with calls, and he wandered up.
Yeah.
Sunday morning, we had 4 Jakes come in, and then this morning, I got into the group of 5.
Yeah.
So uh, a lot of Jakes can be problematic. I don't, I
Yeah.
have, I know 2020, I had more time to hunt. We would work a week and off a week. We're rotating. And we had Jakes everywhere. If it hadn't been for trail cameras, I wouldn't have known we had long-bearded turkeys on the place.
Yeah.
I think that the Jakes were beating them up.
Yeah,
And
for
so they
sure.
were just silent.
Yeah. Yeah. And that one I kind of nicknamed Brutus last year. I think that was a story with him. So I had set down really close to this ridge edge. When I say close, maybe 15 yards. And I could hear my dad. He was 200 yards away. I could hear him calling, and I'm calling. And we got a couple different gobblers going, but they're short gobbles. They sounded like jakes. This longbeard to come up over the ridge, he come in dead silent, and I just wasn't ready. I'm still kind of rooting around, raking leaves, and I turn around and he's right there. If I wouldn't have sat so close to the edge, which we live and learn as hunters every day, if I wouldn't have sat so close, if I'd have backed up another 15 yards, I would have been a little more hidden when he come over. But as soon as he come over, it was over before it started. He took flight, you know. Um, but he come in silent because I think all of the jakes that was on that property, he was afraid of getting beat up.
I think that's it's probably a good problem to have as far as looking forward to next year, but it doesn't make it a whole lot of fun right now.
Well, yeah, that's right. But if I'm down in Kentucky, I got 4 days to hunt, and me and the fellows are wanting some schnitzel. I'm not above shooting a jake. If there's five of them that come in, now I probably won't the first day, but I will take a jake. I sure will.
As
Uh,
long as they're legal.
right, right, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of controversy, I guess, over decoys and shooting jakes, but if it's legal, it's legal, and you do what
right,
you do,
right.
and
Yeah. So when I was reading I was studying the laws in Alabama. I don't know how Georgia is, but uh if I remember right, Alabama, you're not allowed to use decoys for the first I think it's for the first week or 5 days or something like that.
I think that's right.
Yeah. Does Georgia have anything like that?
No restriction.
No
Uh,
restrictions?
and I think Tennessee has gone to no reaping. I think it was Tennessee that
Yeah.
has gone no reaping, um, no using a fan and crawling.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's kind of scary anyways, you know. Um, you got some crazy people out there too. I don't know if I'd be up for crawling behind a fan. I've watched a lot of videos of people doing it, that's for sure.
I've
Uh,
done it twice.
have you?
Uh, I have probably will never do it again, but it's pretty exciting to have one come out of strut with a group of hens and charge. Uh,
Yeah, I bet
and
so. Yeah.
and never tried it, but twice worked like a charm both
Yeah.
times.
I bet it is
Um,
effective. Yeah.
I I have actually personally I don't use decoys anymore,
No.
but I just like to try to trick them one on one.
Yeah.
Flew with a bird last year for 22 days, 22 straight days before we finally got within range of each other and didn't work him every morning,
Yeah.
depending upon where he was.
Yeah.
Um, and some days he didn't gobble, but I was there for him.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. The birds that we got the double on last year, we had been working some birds. We walked into the bottom and we knew we had to get to the top, and it was just like which way we go on which ridge we climbing. But um we headed up and we was walking to where I know a clearing is, and I just luckily I heard a gobble. I'm like, I sat and listened, and my buddy Roy was with me. I'm like, I sat and listened for a second, and sure enough, I had a bird. So we didn't have time. I mean, I had decoys rolled up and stuck in my pack. I throwed the pack down, and we sat down, and as soon as I hit a call, bam, he fired up. And it was about 10 minutes, son, and we had two of them on the ground just like that coming in. A couple nice birds. I'll post a picture on the on the Facebook page there of them two birds. That was a fun, exciting hunt right there. Yeah. But so you don't use decoys anymore. Had you ever used them? Had you used them out
Yeah.
west?
Uh, we had used a Mojo. It clamps on your gun.
Yeah.
We hunted. We hunted the reservation, the Pine Ridge,
Yeah.
and hunting in the prairie. We used those out there.
Yeah.
Um, Never used them in the Black Hills.
Same decoys you'd use here, you use out there, huh?
Actually, this thing just it has a clamp that basically works as a bipod, and the decoy is on your gun. Yeah, I mean you can see through it. A lot of crawling out there
Yeah.
across the prairie and whatnot. But
Yeah.
basically, yes. What we did was took the synthetic fan that came with the decoy and glued Miriam feathers on it. So
Yeah.
don't know
Nice.
that really made a difference, but
Huh.
that's what we did.
I'm gonna try it out there one of these days for sure. I get a little more time. I wouldn't mind going after that Grand Slam for sure. Yeah. So you
You
get
not been to Florida?
I have not. Nope. I have not. Yeah.
Well, there you go. You can start in early March.
I know, right? Yeah, your turkey season, you sure get a lot more time if you spread yourself out a little bit. Yeah. Yeah. Gets a little expensive though buying all them tags. That's the
Well, that's
thing.
probably the least expensive portion of it.
You're probably you're probably right. Yeah.
Food and lodging. Let's don't even talk about gas prices right now.
I
But
know, right? Yeah. Yeah. So, but out west out there, now you don't have to worry about Lone Star ticks either. Yeah.
never found a tick out there. I'm sure they have them.
I'm sure they, yeah. Yeah. I don't think I'd ever, but when I'm out there, it's usually second rifle season for elk, so it's like, it's a little chillier. They're a little more dormant, that time of year, if they're even around. I've never picked a tick off of me out there for sure. So, yeah. Eddie, so I tell you what, Eddie, if you kill this next week or so, send me some pictures. I'd love to post them on the Facebook page.
Definitely will.
For sure,
We
for sure.
I um barring rain, I'm in the woods most every morning.
Are you?
Uh,
Yeah.
if I can get one to play, I call in late to work. If not, I just go to work.
Yeah,
But
I got you. Yeah, yeah. My wife and I, the mushrooms ain't popping up yet up here, but they're close. So we took a little walk the other day, where I hunt, and I we sat on this ridge, and I hit a crow call once, and thought we heard a turkey and wasn't for sure, and he wouldn't gobble a second time. So I grabbed a turkey call and hit it a couple of times, and he fired up, put the turkey call in my pocket, and we just kept on mushroom hunting. We made it about 100 yards, and he gobbled and was coming. And I'm like, Nick, we're gonna have to get out of here. And went up, made a big circle, and he gobbled again. And we didn't run, but we jogged. I'm like, we got to leave because I don't want to educate this bird. So they're getting hot here. The mushrooms ain't popping, but I do got a killable bird down there at one of the places I hunt for sure.
I understand we have morels down here, but I never think to look for
Yeah.
them.
You don't hunt mushrooms. You don't find morels, or you don't.
I've never looked for them.
Yeah.
And I understand we have them.
Yeah.
Just have never looked for
Really.
them. You need oaks in low areas. Is that kind of
Well,
it?
it all depends. So, like early season, you'll get the blacks and the grays and the snakeheads will pop up. They're earlier of a morel mushroom, um, and they're like, we don't have many ash trees anymore. But they used to love the ash trees, dead elms, stuff like that. But as later in the season, when them big old yellows start popping up, we would find sycamores around the creek banks and stuff like that. And that's later in the season when them yellows start coming, and them are good, man. Them big old yellow mushrooms are good. Um,
We
but
have quite a few sycamore,
yeah,
uh, poplar.
yeah. I don't know if I'd ever found them around the poplars, but definitely around the sycamores, around the creek banks. Um, they're when we go down turkey hunting, and there's four of us that go, but two of my buddies don't even turkey hunt. They just go mushroom hunting. And there's a little hot spot just below the cabin. It's along this creek. Oh, it's probably a 200 yard stretch along this creek. And I'm not kidding you. They'll walk it in the morning picking mushrooms, and then they'll go back down there in the afternoon and pick another big old sack full of them. And yeah, it's just a really good hot spot. It's one of them. It's one of them places. They're there every year. They're there every year.
What do you do
Last year,
with?
go ahead.
How do you prepare? How do you prepare them?
Oh, we just sometimes some people put a batter on them. Like frying a fish. I just assume cook them in some butter, put some butter in, or if you do batter them, you can deep fry them like frying fish. Um, whatever batter you would fry fish in. Yeah, they're good. You just when you pick them, cut them down the middle, and throw them in some salt water. It'll kill all the bugs. Let them soak for a while, and then wash them and fry them like you would a piece of fish. And man, they're good. Last year they tore them up. We killed that double turkeys the first morning, and we came in and they was using Walmart bags, and they had three or four big Walmart bags full of mushrooms. We ate like kings last year. Um, but some years, it all depends on weather too. Now here in Ohio we had good snow this year. We had one snowstorm. We had a couple feet. It was like eight, or no, not a couple feet. We had like 18 inches, and then it dropped real super cold, and it was cold. And we had that snow lay here for a couple weeks, and they say that that's good for the mushrooms. Now
Well,
we find them, but I can tell you, my wife and I are the worst mushroom hunters that ever was. I'm just fortunate to trip across them every now and then.
my you talking about the snow? My oldest was in Toledo for 4 years, and so I got to experience some of your snow this past Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Uh, and never been to Ohio, but one time that it didn't snow, and that was in July. So
Is that right? Yeah, yeah. Toledo, you're up there a little closer to Lake Erie too, so they get a little more snow up there for sure. You get that lake effect snow for sure. Yeah. So, Eddie, so man, I sure appreciate you coming on. I got one question that I try to ask all my guests, um, and it's an alpha gal surprise. So, whether it be good or bad, like one of my bad alpha gal surprises when I realized that Aquafina water and Dasani water is filtered through bone char. I can't drink it. One of my good surprises is when I found out Twizzlers had good sugar in it and I could eat Twizzlers. But is there any alpha gal surprises that stick out in your mind that really just surprised you, good or bad?
I can't think of anything. I've never had any bad reaction to the dairy,
Yeah.
um, other than probably mild gastrointestinal issues. Um, Never had any problems with the waters that are filtered through bone char.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. You're fortunate there, then. That's for
I,
sure.
I I am fairly certain that pork
Only trigger, huh?
is my kryptonite.
Yeah.
I have not been willing to try anything else,
Yeah. Right.
but cheese and ice cream, I can do those today, and I don't have any effects from them.
Yeah, I
So
can do like some cheese and some dairy. I can't do a lot, but I can go have some Mexican with my wife, and the amount of cheese that I eat for dinner, it doesn't. I'm pretty fortunate that it don't affect me too bad. Um, Eddie, have you ever gotten COVID?
Three times, I think.
COVID. Yeah. See, so a lot of people say that with COVID, when it mixes with the alpha gal, that it gives you mast cell, and it's what messes with your histamines. But it don't sound to me like you have a bad histamine problem. Do you
Uh,
take any kind of antihistamines or
I
anything?
do. I Ever since I was diagnosed, I have taken 40 milligrams of famotidine every night before bed,
I
and I take I don't know what prescription antihistamine they got me on now, but I did. I forget what I took for years, just an over-the-counter type antihistamine,
yeah, yeah.
and my doctor changed me up this past year. She said that you need to rotate through antihistamines periodically. Um,
Huh. Is there a
but
reason why? Did she tell you what the reason was for that?
I think you build a tolerance.
Oh, that makes sense. That does make sense. Yeah, yeah. So I tell you something I discovered, and I just done this recently. So you hear about a lot of people with alpha gal getting real bad stiffness in their joints, almost arthritic. Um, so um, I had a friend of mine when I got alpha gal that I credit her for saving my life, Lori. She always helped me through the hard times there. But when I was having a histamine problem, I didn't know what it was. And she's the one who explained to me about antihistamines. And so I started taking a Pepcid and a Zyrtec, take a Pepcid in the morning, Zyrtec at night, or I'd rotate or whatever. And then as times went on, I have tried other ones. Like I got some Claritin and I found my best. I don't like taking pills. If I can not take them, I'm not going to. So I tried quitting a couple of times, which was a bad mistake because I'm going to have a reaction if I let the histamines get out of control. But I ran out of my Pepcid AC, which is the one thing I take every morning for it. I ran out. I pulled a bottle of Claritin out. Now it might have been some generic Walgreens or CVS brand or whatever. So I just said, well, I'm gonna go get some Pepsi, but in the meantime, I'll just take one of these. Well, I ended up taking it for about a week, and it was about a week in, Eddie, I was getting out of bed in the morning. I was so daggone stiff. I get up, and it was like I was 100 years old. My joints was hurting, and I didn't know what was happening. I had no idea. And then that morning when I was getting up, I went and grabbed that bottle, and I'm like, I just wonder. I wonder. So I didn't take it. I run uptown, got me some Pepsid, got back on my Pepsid. 3 days later, I was back to normal. And I think that's just a different kind of antihistamine. I haven't done all the research yet, but for me, it was making me bad stiff.
I can't tell you what two histamines you have. I don't remember that, but the Pepcid famotidine uh, takes care of one, and then Benadryl will take care of the other. And I think any of your over the counter Desertec, Allegra, whatever would fall under that category.
Is
But
that right?
that is why the doctor told me that if you ever have a bad allergic reaction, to take both famotidine and Benadryl.
Because it
So
covers both sides.
it covers both. And as far as your Pepsid goes, Walmart famotidine 200 tabs for about $12. So
Yeah.
I've been taking the generic Walmart brand for however many years now.
I'm gonna
Going
I'm
on
gonna give
80.
it a try for sure. Yeah, yeah. Because I've been taking, I felt good about being down to, because in the beginning I was taking, like I said, a Pepsi in the morning and a Zyrtec at night. And then if I'd have a flare up, I'd go get the Benadryl out. So, um, but I was feeling pretty good about being down to just one pill. Um, but I'm going to start experimenting a little bit with some others just to, make sure I'm feeling good and, that. So,
Well, he can't. He's got me taking both at bedtime. And as far as the
really?
joints and the arthritic symptoms, I just assumed that came along with birthdays.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. I think you're right. I think you're right. Yeah. But what I had, and this just happened like I just probably about a week ago I got to where I was back to normal. You know what I mean? So yeah, the Claritin definitely made a difference in me in the stiffness in my joints and stuff. You know, so. But Eddie, I sure appreciate you coming on, buddy. We've been on about an hour. I don't want to waste any more of your time, but I sure would like some pictures. You shoot us some turkey. I
Well,
sure
if we
would
get
like.
lucky,
Yeah, like
if we
to.
get lucky, I'll send you some pictures.
I sure like it. And if you ever decide to come to Kentucky turkey hunting or Ohio, you let me know, and I'll take you right with me where I go. So you got an open invitation if you ever decide to come up.
Be careful. I'll take you up on those turkey hunting invitations.
Well, I tell you, where we're at in Kentucky, I'll send you a link to the cabins we stay at, okay? And we got to drive, depending on where we're going, 10, 15 minutes in the morning. Um, and we got a couple pretty good farms. And then there's just south of where we're at, about 20 minutes, is 5,000 acre plot of Daniel Boone National Forest. You know, we're the cabin we're at is located in the Red River Gorge, but we kind of get away from the touristy area, when we go hunting, obviously. But yeah, yeah. You ever decide to go, son, you let me know and we'll find you a bed for sure.
Well, I appreciate it.
Yep. Eddie, I'm gonna hit the unrecord button. Just hang on right there for a minute. So appreciate you coming on the Alpha Guy Outdoorsman.
All right, guys. So this is going to be my first patch in little edit here. But what happened was Eddie and I finished the podcast, and then after I hit the turn to record button off, him and I ended up talking about 10 minutes, and we was talking about some things that I thought was important enough that I called him back. I got him on speakerphone here real fast. So Eddie, when you was sick with alpha gal in the beginning, the doctors had you diagnosed with something completely different, and you was days away from them removing your colon. Is that right?
Yes, actually, I've been diagnosed with UC, ulcerative colitis, in 2007,
Yeah.
and I started having a flare in August, following my initial diagnosis in June with the alpha gal.
Yeah.
This continued for approximately 3.5 years. They tried me on a anti-rejection drug, Imuran, which in 18 days put me on a walker. The next step was Remicade. I had anaphylaxis with the Remicade. It contains a Chinese hamster ovary.
Wow.
Then following that, several months later, we tried Humira. Had some mild anaphylaxis issues with the Humira, and we had gotten down to we're going to try one more drug, and if that doesn't work, we're going to have to remove your colon. And I don't remember exactly the order and how things happened, but Sharon would, I guess she works with Dr. Cummins.
Yeah, Alpha Gal Alliance. She is the chairman for Alpha Gal Alliance in Washington, D.C. Yep. So go ahead.
Yeah. She had sent me a bunch of articles, and my brother-in-law, who is a medical professional, was talking to his sister, who is a internal medicine doctor in New York, about my issues, and she told him about Dr. Cummins discovering a gastrointestinal variant of alpha gal that mimics ulcerative colitis. So I never took the last drug. Through dietary changes, everything got back in norm.
Wow.
I've gone.
So you was that close. You was one drug away from them taking your colon, all because it was pretty much misdiagnosed.
Well, and we don't know for certain, that it was misdiagnosed. We do know for certain I have not taken any medication for my ulcerative colitis in several years, and I live a normal life today. The bottom line was the gastroenterologist was totally, he would not consider the fact that the flare-up I was having had anything to do with my alpha-gal.
Man.
When we are fairly certain, and it's all speculative,
Yes.
my allergist and I think that we're correct. That, but he refused to consider the fact, even though all the articles Sharon sent me were in the College of Gastroenterology journals. So the literature was there for him. He just refused to see it, even though I forwarded him all this information.
Yeah. It seems like it's a common story to hear doctors, maybe not necessarily misdiagnosing, but refusing to believe what is right in front of their face because they just don't believe alpha-gal. So let me get this timeline a little bit here. So you had been taking medication for this gastrointestinal. You was down to the last drug after that. So then you was down to the last drug, and then they was going to take your colon. That evening, you found Sharon somewhere on the internet, sent her a message, and she sent you the information back, and you didn't take the last drug, and you're living a normal life today.
And actually, Sharon had sent me some information sometime prior to that.
Yeah.
I found that alpha-gal page on Facebook, and I just remarked, if there's hope, help.
Yeah, right.
And within minutes, she started sending me articles.
Yeah.
And then sometime after that, she had sent me more articles, and then we found this. My brother-in-law's sister had found this other stuff. So between those two, they say my colon is not my life.
Right. Yeah. So, Sharon, so now we've talked offline. You and I hit we stopped the record of the podcast, and then you and I had all this discussion. And then, so I put the phone call in when I started to edit. So, but you didn't know Sharon. You didn't know her. You just made that comment, and she started posting. Yeah. So her name is Sharon Forsyth. She's the chairman of alpha-gal Alliance out of Washington, D.C. She's an admin on a lot of these pages. I don't know how many years she's been at this, but she is a godsend to a lot of people. So I'm going to give a shout out to Sharon for you. And I've already called her, by the way. I called her and let her know about this. And that's another reason I wanted to add this at the end. So, Eddie, anything else you'd like to add?
I can't think of anything.
Okay.
I'm sure after we hang up, something will pop up. But...
Yeah. Well, I can't wait to see some pictures of turkey, because I know turkey season's hot and heavy, and we are in turkey bonanza here at alpha-gal Outdoorsman. So I'm getting excited. Just outside of the community where I live a little bit, there was just yesterday morning, there was a bunch of strutters out there. There was 7 hens and 2 big toms out in this open field just close to me. So I'm getting pretty excited around here. So,
well, they're running me ragged down here in South Georgia.
that's the way it goes. Yeah. We got a few weeks before season comes in. So I'm really hoping to get an update from you in a few days here, Eddie, with a big tom laying on the ground. Get me some pictures and we can post them on the Facebook page. But Eddie, I want to thank you again for answering. I know I popped this on you pretty quick, but I hope we talk again, Eddie. Thank you very much, my buddy.
All right. Thank you. Have a good day.
Yep. Bye-bye. Wow. Just real quick, man. You heard it. Eddie laid it out, and I kind of put you a detailed timeline together, but that just goes to show you right there, alpha-gal's got a long way to come. Long way to come. Now, I know that this was a few years ago, but here we are. So I'm hoping to get this edited, kind of cut right in there, but we'll see how my editing skills go. But thanks again for listening to alpha-gal Outdoorsman.
Tuning in to alpha-gal Outdoorsman. Make sure to hit that follow button. And until we meet again, wear your tick repellent.